I was showing you all this kimchi makeup because it's awesome and you should check it out. And the packaging and everything is itself a work of art. So I got it the other day and just felt like sharing it as part of this video too. This is my favorite part of the packaging though, really, is this. This is the tissue paper that the Puff Puff Pass came in, and like I don't know if you guys can see the details on it. It's amazing. So yeah, and then here's the actual Puff Puff Pass. But I'm actually painting tonight, and I also was saying that I'm sorry if you were expecting cooking because I forgot to change um, the subject of what I was doing tonight, and I'm just kind of getting used to the freedom of doing content creation and being able to be like, oh, if I want to talk about, makeup and painting watercolor at the same time, I can do that. But I apologize if you were expecting food and I was saying that I am cooking. I have fish in the oven and I'm going to need to check it in a minute. You might hear the oven go off. I found that this magenta and violet did not handle wet on wet great or the same way that most other pigments I've worked with do. So I've talked a lot about how like, the chemical properties of each pigment, it's usually heavy metals that give them these bright, beautiful colors. Which is why you always want to wash your hands. Anyways, like I was saying, for some reason it almost seems like this pigment weakens the osmotic pressure a little bit or something like that. Sorry, I'll be right back. And the reason that I say that is because when I did this wet on wet technique, everywhere that I did it, it bled out of the areas I was working with in a way that it doesn't usually to the same extent when I've worked with any other pigment. So there's probably some interesting chemical reason for that. In some cases, it led to some things I like this that I think is really beautiful. It I had this section with some of this light magenta and a lot of water. The water spilled over, it mixed in with some of this pyrrole red and created this really nice organic shape. But there's a lot of places that I'm basically like I can't undo what happened, but I'm gonna go over them and make it look nice. Like I'm not super happy with some of the areas that happened are. I'm gonna have to go over this with some green again and try to, I guess, touch it up. But I'm also super happy with the magenta in this painting. I feel like it completely changed the painting. It's a completely different painting than it was a few nights ago. And I think it really brings it together. So this magenta doesn't seem to do great with these really dilute big water areas, which is fine because it's such a beautiful pigment that I want to go in with more intense color, and that means less water. So I'll still use a little water to blend, but I'm definitely not going to be using that wet on wet technique. This is a wet on dry technique. I think might be more appropriate for this pigment, or at least better for me for what I'm doing right now with this pigment. So I went in with a little dry brush. I basically just dropped some of that magenta in, and before it dried, I added a little bit of water to help blend it out. So much less water than the wet on wet technique. So I should have less of that issue. Sorry about the shaking. I have a more steady desk that I'm working on. Excuse me, drinking some water. I need to break it down and move it to a new room and put it back together. So that'll just need to happen at some point, but that'll be a day I won't have time to paint, so that'll be a bummer. But I need to do it so that I have a better workspace. Need that other room for other stuff. Welcome everyone who's arrived since I started. I don't know if you can make sure you can see the areas that I'm talking about. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm definitely bringing more of the magenta into the body of this Giselle this evening because I'm really happy with the magenta overall and how it looks in this area, especially um, so I'm gonna try to correct some of the errors that came with kind of experimenting with this new pigment and had some unexpected effects, but I love the pigment and I love how it blends with the colors that are already in this section. So I'm gonna do more of it. So I'm gonna use more of it. I will probably only use this. This is a magenta and this is a violet this evening, even though, you know, I have this pyrrole red and this indigo out also, but I'm just really focused on this pigment at the moment for whatever reason. Now I do want to drop in more pigment. Hopefully this isn't a mistake. As long as I don't overdo it, it should be okay. So that's a little more of that violet and this more magenta that I'm dropping in, so you probably won't see a lot of it. But I was using more of the magenta side of it earlier. So I was experimenting with having the camera in this direction, and I think I like that you can see more of the desk, but I don't know if you can see as much of the Giselle. Is that better? Hi everyone, welcome. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's rotate, move to a different area. I'm gonna check on my fish that's in the oven real quick. Okay, I think I managed not to shake this table when I sat down that time. Let's see if I can keep that up. Now, I'm not sure what to do with this area because I was really not intending to bring a red or a magenta in here, but let's because I accidentally dropped this water droplet here that had some of the magenta in it, and I just need to do a little more work to make it like work in the space. A little more of that wet on dry technique to kind of blend out that magenta line that I painted really specifically with the dry brush technique before it dries. So it's not really, well, there's kind of a there's kind of a range in dry brush, of it being almost completely dry, which can be really great for, and that's not even the best example of, well, maybe here's a better example. So you can do it really dry to get really, really fine lines, like almost each individual hair on the brush kind of thing. But there's like a range. Yeah. So yeah, I would have to fill that space up with a lot more to actually cover that up. But I do think I want at least this area to, yeah, a little more of that brightness. Um, because I like this yellow. I don't want to totally lose it, but I also feel like that's a lot better. Hopefully you'll still see some of that yellow, and I'm going to try to leave this area alone. I'm going to try to resist the temptation to go in there again, although maybe a little in here. But this area I think is really good. I want to let it be lighter than the rest of the painting. It's really easy as you get closer to an end of a really high pigment saturation painting like this to accidentally cover up your negative space or near negative space with watercolor, by which I mean these relatively light areas. I want to make sure that I leave some of them like that, enough of them like that. Speaking of which, I might use a little paper towel to try to retain some of this yellow I liked in here. So yeah, you can't erase, but if you get in there quick enough, you can dab up a little. And this is also, as you can see, a pretty nice blending technique. You can use the water to blend, and then if you overdo the water, you can pull some of the water off, basically. Oh, there we go. I like that. Who's afraid of lonely? Well, you should be. Well, you should be. Oh, Taylor Swift, guys. Sorry if you're like, what is weird song? She's amazing. Like her music's very very great poetry. You should check out that song. Hi everyone. I'm sorry if you were expecting cooking. I'm not cooking right. Well, I am cooking right now, but I forgot to change the thing to say that it was a painting night because it's the painting night and a makeup night. As I kind of continue on this journey, I'm finding that I'm like and a music night because I sang a little. Um, I'm worrying less about like keeping things in the right like category like that because I'm kind of getting used to um getting into the creative space more and like having more of that freedom. So I'm like, oh, I guess everything doesn't have to be so rigid. Okay. Which is something I really like about these kinds of platforms because like I don't believe we're really divided inside ourselves the way, our schools kind of divide us in uh like STEM people and artsy people and people who like sports and like but I like liberal arts and um, I have a hard science and liberal arts background, so I have like a lot of experience with both, and I just believe it's so important to value like the full range of humanness, and I think it's important to have spaces like that. Like we've got like so much of our society boxes us in. Um, it's like whether it's a hobby or you're doing it more professionally, it's just so important to give yourself room to just be a person, and that's really what I want to cultivate in this community is like some people might be artists and might be interested in learning watercolor technique, or people might just enjoy hanging out and talking about art and life and stuff, and I just want to like encourage people to show up for themselves and each other like that. Yeah. To make sure that you all can see what I'm working on. I used to ski a lot, non sequitur, right? Yeah, I don't know if you can see my skis. Those are my telemarks. They're awesome. Anyways, I brought it up though because like I don't ski anymore because I have back problems and feet problems, mostly from like skiing a lot when I was younger. And I loved it, but it was when I started getting older and realizing I couldn't like do it the way that I used to. I couldn't ski the way I used to. It started with not being able to go as often because I, worked on the mountain for a while. So I like had a pass through my work and lived up there and stuff. So I used to ski like, so I did it kind of like when people surf all the time kind of thing. So I was, and I grew up doing it. So it was like a really serious sport for me. And like, I did a lot of trees and backcountry, and I just part of how I connected with nature. And it was really hard to go skiing when I could only go a few times a year because it always took me like 4 to 10 days to get my body in gear. Like in an athletic way to be like to remind my muscles, connect my brain in the right way to be able to do the things I had trained it to do that I needed to be able to ski the way that I used to ski. And all that to say like I can't do that anymore, but um but I can still paint. And that might seem like a weird comparison, but I get a similar kind of joy and like connecting to just appreciating the beauty of nature. And there's also a level of discipline with like, I have to paint every day or almost every day to build up and renew my fine motor skills. Even though like gross motor and fine motor we think of as being different, I don't know that they are that different. So I don't know. That's a tangent about me and my practice and thinking about it. I'm gonna check on my fish real quick. Oh, there's still people here. That's cool. Hi. I'll be right back. My dog wants a treat, but I can't give it to him right now because I have watercolors on my hands. I need to wash my hands before I do that. You know, you're probably thinking, she said she wasn't going to go into that area. No, I'm kidding. I don't expect anyone to remember everything I say like that. I'm totally kidding, but I did say that, and I'm still trying not to go too much into that area. But I wanted to kind of bring some of this bright magenta um, into this kind of wheel going on around it. But I'm still definitely going to leave this area alone. Want to go outside? I have been working with this tiny detail brush this whole time. Not everyone likes detail brushes, but if you do, you do. A lot of people who like them love them. So, anyways, I have a nice detail brush set that I don't have, but that I would love to have in the shopping cart for recommended items. I have linked to this live, and I also have the Paul Rubens watercolor set, and those I am working with, and um, they've really transformed this painting. Just starting to work with them, kind of in the middle of this painting because I'd been working on it for a few years, and da da da, and I had this set that was given to me as a gift that I hadn't had an a chance to really break open because I didn't really have time to paint for a while, and I had like life stuff, other stuff going on, and anyways, so I came back to this painting, and I came back to this set of paints, and so the bottom layer is a different kind of brand of paints, and the more recent layers are all Paul Rubens, and yeah, it's definitely transformed this piece. Just working with a much higher quality grade watercolor than I've had the chance to work with before. So it's kind of an exciting thing about this piece is seeing the transformation and the difference, and it's kind of a milestone to kind of graduate to, and I've said before, like you can make great art with any material, but you also can do things with professional grade paints like this that they just handle differently. So it is really exciting. So, anyways, I have those in the well style and the tube style for the Paul Rubens watercolor artist paints, which is their like professional grade line. They do have a student line that maybe I should start including links to those um, sets also, because that might be more what someone on my page is looking for. I don't know. I just want to make a lot of things available for you to check out and learn about the different tools that painters use if you're here to learn about that stuff. Maybe you are an expert painter with more experience than me, and you're just like checking out this newbie, and that's awesome. Thank you. Or maybe maybe you're not someone who identifies as an artist, but you just think it's a chill vibe, and that's all awesome. That's all awesome to me. I don't know if you all noticed that I use the phrase, I don't say anyone isn't an artist, but I will say that someone might not consider themselves an artist. I don't know if that's the art teacher in me, but I really believe that, or I don't know if that belief is why I'm an art teacher, but I really believe we're all artists. I believe it's, and I also believe that the 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 thought processes around scientific thinking, and I'm also a scientist and science teacher, like the logic and reasoning and the investigative, inquisitive spirit, those are all human. Those are all universal human things that belong to all of us. So while access to the knowledge or the tools might be controlled and limited, the heart, that's why anyone can be a scientist if they have access to those tools. Anyone can be an artist if they have access to those tools and they want to be, because those are all fundamental human capacities. I think I'm going to go listen to some Taylor Swift, eat some dinner. It was really nice hanging out with you all tonight. I hope that you had fun. Please check out my page and give me a follow, so that you can keep up with my work and see what I'm working on tomorrow and how this piece comes along. I hope everyone had a restful weekend, if you had a weekend, and I hope you get some rest this week if you worked this weekend. All right, everyone, take it easy. Thank you.